Alright, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to make an example of a function that returns the Boolean type. So I think the idea that I'm going to do in this video is we're going to make a function that checks to see if someone has inputted a 4-digit PIN number. We don't need to do this outside of the main function, but the point is just getting used to the idea of making functions that do perform tasks for us outside of the main function. And in this case, we haven't done a Boolean type yet, so that will be this one. So let's start off with the function outside of the main function. So I said it will be a Boolean type, and it's going to check if a PIN number is 4 digits that someone will eventually type in the main function here. So let's call it something simple like is 4 digits. And we're going to pass in actually a string, and we'll call that PIN. And the reason we use string is because we can really easily check the length of a string. We don't need it to be an integer or something like that because we're not going to be doing any sort of arithmetic operations on this person's PIN number. All right, so we are going to return a Boolean variable, our Boolean type. So let's set up our Boolean variable that will eventually return, and we'll call that status, and let's initialize that to true. So now what we're going to say is just simply with an if statement, if PIN this incoming PIN, that the string that someone has passed in, if pin.length is not equal to 4, just like that, then we're going to do something. And that thing that we're going to do simply is just we're going to change status to false. Boom, there we go. And then once we have that, make sure we got that semicolon in there, and then go ahead and we're just going to return status. Okay, so basically what this function is doing is we'll write everything else in here in 1 second, but it's accepting a PIN number from the main function, and it's checking to see if it's 4 digits long or not. And so if it is 4 digits, then nothing will change and we'll return status, which we've already set to true. And if it's not 4 digits, then we're going to come in here, set it to false, and we're going to return false. Now if you recall with Boolean operators, 0 is false and 1 is true. Those are the only two types of, only two things it can represent. All right, so let's go ahead and make our main function here. So I guess first of all we'll need that string. Sure, let's call it PIN, and then we'll ask our user to input something. So we'll see out, enter a 4-digit PIN number. All right. And maybe just let them enter it there on the same line, just like that. And then we'll see in let the user input the PIN number. All right. Now what we need to do is we don't need to write this whole function out here. Like we could very easily do this with like an if-else statement. But the point is we're just getting used to the idea of sending some work out to functions that aren't inside the main function. So with that said, we will be using an if statement, so we're going to say if is 4 digits, and we're passing in PIN. So we say if this is equal to 1, so if this is true, then do something. And so we're going to see out PIN accepted, just like that. All right, and then else, we're going to do something else. So else, see out, definitely, there we go, see out, PIN denied. All right, something just like that. We don't actually need these curly braces in here because these are just one-line statements, so we can go ahead and get rid of those. And then lastly, we just want to see out and line either way. Okay, so let's build and run this, see if we got all the semicolons in there. Probably not. Looks like it might be working. All right, so let's just run this program and see what happens, and we'll talk about what we're seeing. So here it's saying enter a 4-digit PIN number. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 4 digits. And there, when we hit enter, it says PIN accepted. So that's pretty cool. That's actually what we're hoping for it to do. Let's do something else. Let's put in 3 digits, PIN denied. And let's put in something else, 5 digits, PIN denied. Well, there you go. That's pretty cool. So let's, if we want, we can talk about what's happening here. So inside the main function, after we ask the person to input a number into PIN, they enter something. And if you've seen, I can enter 4 digits, or I can enter 5 or 3 or something. Now in the if statement, we pass it into we pass pin into is digits, and this is going to check to see whatever the result is or the output to see if it's equal to 1. Now, when we pass in pin, it gets changed to lowercase pin here, and that's what we'll call it for the body of this function. And here we have, yeah, we're just checking bool status. It's already defaulted to true, so the only way it can become false is if this statement is satisfied. So if it's anything but 4 digits long, and there you get, there you see we're either returning status as a 1 or a 0. 0 for false, 1 for true. And then when we return that, it kicks us out here. So say that it was true, it's going to return a 1. And then if the output of this, say 1, is equal to 1, then that's why we're seeing out pin accepted. Otherwise, we are returning a 0, which is a false, and it's saying pin denied. So there you go. You don't have to, like, we could have easily gotten rid of this whole function and just done something clever with this if statement, but because we're just learning how to make functions, there you go. If you want to outsource it, to its own function here of the Boolean type, then that's an example of a Boolean function that you can use to do something productive. All right, see you in the next video.